we have to talk about the evil, evil travel ban. And I only say that because I'm mocking the libs who call everything Trump does evil. Now, if you remember, the last time President Trump was in trouble with the libs was because the Muslim ban, which banned people from countries where if you walked around all day, you wouldn't be able to find a Muslim. Nevertheless, they called it the Muslim ban, again, despite having countries that were not Islamic in any way, shape, or form, but that's beside the point. Here's the big problem with this new travel ban. I'm sure you've already heard President Trump is banning entry from people from Afghanistan, Burma, Chad, Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. And the libs are struggling to figure out how they can hate this. Because last time, the whole Muslim ban thing didn't really work, considering the fact that, well, they weren't Muslim countries. And at this point, they're kind of going through their options. Well, can we say it's a race thing? Okay, well, he has his African countries and Middle Eastern countries and Asian countries. So it's actually very inclusive, the countries that he's included in this ban. Okay, can it be a religion thing? Okay, well, half of some of these countries are Christian nations that just run terribly. It's okay, so it can't be that. Can it be a weight thing? Well, no, because everybody in these countries are starving and they're usually very skinny. But so it can't be that. They're trying to figure out and desperately unable to find how to hate the new Trump ban. But they're trying, nevertheless. Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, who's an America-hating socialist, in my opinion, said this, and I thought this was very funny. Banning a whole group of people because you disagree with the structure or function of their government not only lays blame in the wrong place, it creates a dangerous precedent. All right, well, Congresswoman Jayapal, riddle me this. If a country based their entire populace around, let's just say, and sorry for the graphic description here, pooping in their hands and throwing it at their neighbors, should we say, hey, maybe we don't want that here? Is that a good idea? Can we draw the line at least there? And if she would agree that, yeah, that's not good, maybe we shouldn't do that, wait till she hears what's going on in some of the countries on this list. The atrocities listed in so many of these countries are way, way worse. So in the ideal world, I don't think, Congresswoman Jayapal, that argument makes a ton of sense. But again, feel free to continue trying to find a way to hate the travel ban, which hopefully, and the intent is that keeps American people, the American citizens, safe. Here to comment on that and so much more is Walkaway spokesperson Natalie Jean Beisner and comedian Matt Riggle. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you as well.
Just a quick note here, because it's funny, and I think people sometimes appreciate the behind the scenes look. We had a cancellation. Gavin Wax was supposed to be on the show. Matt thankfully filled in. Gavin, it looks like, might be running the FCC, so he had a little bit of a priority come up, and I don't think, Matt, you're in that situation. Would you say so?
Well, I didn't mean to tell you this. We're gonna have to make this go speedy because there's a chance in about a half hour I may become the director of the CIA. It's not impossible. I'm just saying it could happen. So, if we could just move this along, I'd appreciate it.
It's very possible, but I wouldn't count on it. Natalie,
it was either the CIA or the WNBA. I can't remember.
Matt, we're talking about something very serious here. Libs
Right.
trying to hate something, and they're not having a good time. Natalie, again, just because Trump does it means it's obviously bad to the libs and the lib media. At the same time, all of this is very defensible. A lot of these countries have atrocities. But aside from that, you've got a system where they don't have a practical way, a structural way of IDing people. And therefore, the people that come over here don't have passports. They overstay their visas and all that sort of stuff. I mean, to me, this seems thoroughly reasonable, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also not a surprise because I think one of the first things Trump did on his first day in office was sign an executive order that directed Marco Rubio to look at which countries don't have the proper vetting. And so we kind of knew that this was coming. And one of the other things that Jayapal said is that it's bad for our economy because we rely on contributions from these people. And I mean, no offense, but I don't think that we heavily rely on contributions from really any of the these countries, and Afghans can still get their special visa if they helped us in the war, that kind of thing. That's not going away. But I think, I mean, I'm like a hawk on this. I think our security should come before anybody's feelings of being discriminated against. I think we could go even further. Tom Homan keeps talking about how the Biden administration had 2 million at least known gotaways, meaning people who paid even more to where they not just got to the border, they didn't turn themselves into Border Patrol, they paid more to never, ever be apprehended, never be vetted. And he's worried about another 9/11 over that. So obviously this travel ban isn't going to affect the people who are already here and we don't know where they are and we're looking for them. But I think we need to do whatever we can do, because this is probably like the biggest national security threat that we've had in my lifetime. So I say go further.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and also I think legal experts are saying this will probably hold up in the Supreme Court, even though I'm sure he's going to be hit with a bunch of lawsuits. Matt, Natalie brought up the economic impact. How will we ever recover without the trade that we do with Equatorial Guinea or Eritrea, which some people are probably hearing those countries' name for the first time. Will we recover from this?
I think so. I think the worst thing that you could probably say about the list of countries is it looks like on the surface of it, Trump watched all the Rambo movies and then just banned all the countries that they take place in. But it's interesting the timing of the conversation, because last night I watched a new documentary on Netflix. It was about the hunt for bin Laden. And one of the things they talk about in there is how some of the CIA operatives that were looking for him long before 9/11 were blamed for the attack when they were looking for someone to blame. And it kind of reminds me of this as something that if there was to be an attack by someone from one of those countries, the blame would be, why didn't you do something about this? So it's one of those things that somebody's going to get blamed for it either way. And in Trump's position, he's going to get it more than anybody else.
That's a great point. If God forbid something does happen and they do come from one of these countries, they're gonna be like, hey, why didn't we do anything? We had all this intel. We saw the fact that none of these people had appropriate identification. Yeah, that's a very good point.